I'm a diehard Chiefs and Cyclones fan, and the best pass rusher that nobody's talking about plays for Iowa State. Let's preview the Iowa State defensive line room in 2026-27. And PJ Cole, welcome back to Cyclone Kingdom, back from vacation and ready to get back into it as we go through the defense of the Iowa State Cyclones. Fall camp begins today as we're recording this. The Jimmy Rogers era is underway. Got a couple more previews, and then we move on to season previews. Make sure you like and subscribe for all Chiefs and Cyclones content. Then head over to Cyclone Central as well for exclusive Iowa State Cyclones content as well. The defensive line room for the Iowa State Cyclones is one of the more underestimated rooms in the Big 12. Why? Because Iowa State is going to be built on defense this year. And because they're going to be built on defense, the defensive line going to a four-man front, the 3-3-5 is over. Let the people rejoice. As much as we love the 3-3-5 with John Haycock, the four-man front that Jesse Bobbitt's going to bring is a sight for sore eyes for Iowa State fans. Going to that four-man front, being a defensive-minded team that Iowa State's going to be, the guys in that room can make or break this season. I've said it before that I don't think Iowa State's going to have this crazy good year. They're not going to go, 9-3 or 8-4. But if the defensive line starts balling out and they start getting to the quarterback and they start creating pressures and creating sacks and creating forced fumbles, and the offense keeps you in games, who's to say you can't go 8-4 or 9-3? Now, I believe that because of where the offense is at, they're still a couple years away, that Iowa State's going to kind of have to trudge through the mud a little bit, as we've stated. But the defensive line room is elite on this team. They're so good. Let's go through all of them, as we always have this offseason with the Feel Still Preview Magazine. He states, for the defensive line room, you got Caden Crawford, Bryson Lamb, Zamir Hawk, and my boy, Isaac Terrell. We'll get to him in just a minute, but Bobby Terrell is the best pass rusher in the Big 12 that nobody is talking about. He's going to be a monster this year. But Caden Crawford, a senior, coming over from South Dakota. He did some great work with South Dakota. He has been a part of college football for a few years now. He comes in as a senior, and he can provide this kind of hard-nosed, gritty edge rusher that Iowa State needs on the opposite side of the guy that we just mentioned previously, Bobby Terrell. I'm very excited for Caden. I think he's got a great opportunity in front of him. I believe he was the one that transferred from Iowa last year that didn't really get a lot of playing time, and now he's with the arch rival Iowa State. I think that's him. I can double check that. But Caden Crawford at South Dakota last year, 15 starts, 78 tackles, 10.5 tackles for loss. He knows his way around the football field. He knows his way around being able to get in the backfield and get to the quarterback. Bryson Lamb, similarly, from Washington State. You see a lot of Washington State guys on this defense this year. You're going to see tons of them. That doesn't mean they're not good. That doesn't mean that they haven't experienced powerful for football. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Washington State took Ole Miss to the wire last year. The semifinal college football playoff Ole Miss Rebels. Washington State took them to the wire. They had them in a game that they could have easily won. Bryson Lamb, Bobby Terrell, we'll talk about other guys with linebackers and DBs in upcoming videos. They all were a part of a team that went 6-6 with a brand new roster. That's a credit to Jimmy Rogers. It's a credit to what he brings with him to Ames with all these defensive studs. But Bryson Lamb, 25 tackles, 3.5 tackles for loss, and 12 starts. Right there, that defensive tackle spot, he's going to be great as part of that four-man front. And then you got Zamir Hawk. Zamir Hawk is my dude. He stayed at Iowa State. He could have easily left. He could have gone to greener pastures, and he said the greener pastures are here in Ames. Zamir Hawk is going to have a monster season because of what he means to Iowa State, because of the opportunities the coaching staff is going to give him, because of the talent level that he already has. Zamir Hawk is a guy, guys. Zamir Hawk is a dude in the trenches that can get you stops. Is he Dominique Orange? Is he a Wazirike? No. But Zamir Hawk by himself is a guy that, as you've heard in interviews over the spring showcase, I think it was, that he just loves getting after it and having some big time plays in big moments. And so Zamir Hawk is going to be awesome. Played in 11 games last year, had 8 tackles, but that is only going to go up this year with the opportunities he's going to be given. And that brings us to Bobby Terrell. That brings us to the man, the myth, the legend of Bobby Terrell. You saw the interview at Big 12 Media Days. The guy doesn't say much, which fires me up. If you don't say a lot in interviews and you're just kind of staring off into the distance, you are ready for war. Like, give this dude some face paint, some war paint, and send him out to go get some. I'm so pumped for Isaac Terrell. I again, didn't know a lot about these guys, similar to a lot of Cyclone Nation, didn't know a lot about Washington State players or the transfers coming in. And from the moment you heard about Bobby Terrell, from the moment you heard coaches talk about him in practice, and then you see the interview of him, of what is important to him as a defensive lineman and a defensive end, woo, he's ready to make me run through a brick wall. And it's not because of anything he said. It's the look on his face that says, we're coming to get something this year. We are getting after the quarterback. There's a couple of highlights of Terrell in that game against Ole Miss where he got after Chambliss, who ended up being this superstar player last year. Got after him, forced a fumble even. He's got unbelievable potential, even NFL draft potential, and he is a senior, which means that if the 5-5 rule goes through and it happens, he could potentially come back for another year. It brings a lot to the table when you have a guy with that type of ability in your defensive line room. Other guys to mention, quick stats on Terrell. He only started 5 games last year at Washington State. But check this out. 28 tackles and 7 sacks. 7 sacks in 5 starts. He also came into the game as a rotational player. But 7 sacks in 12 games. If he was in all those 12 games, he started 5 of them, and the other 7 he's rotating in. To get 7 sacks in that year in college football, and for a Washington State team that doesn't have a conference or didn't have a conference at that point, and he's still getting after it, what is he going to do in a Big 12? What is he going to do in a Big 12 where they are underrating everything about Iowa State? They're underrating everything. Some other guys to mention, you got Malachi Taiz, Max Balloon, he was just coming off an injury. Donovan Fitzmaurice, Caleb Bilal-Jones, he's been a great content guy for Iowa State Athletics on all the media day stuff. Blake Hawkins, Jack Janikowski, Jack Limbaugh, you got Chet Andrews. Trey Verdon is a guy that has been a part of Iowa State as well. Jason Gilbert, guy that was part of Iowa State. The room is filled. The room is filled with guys that are ready to go make plays. I think that this is one of the more impressive rooms on Iowa State's roster this year. Not just because they're defensive minded, but because of the talent in the room. And if for nothing else, because of Bobby Terrell. Bobby Terrell raises that room immediately. And nobody knows about him yet. But they're about to. Iowa Hawkeyes, BYU Cougars, all those big games we're talking about, where the top 25 list just came out, and it showed that Iowa State's going to have to play 3 top 25 teams for their first 6 games. Get ready. Get ready to learn Bobby Terrell. He's nicknamed Bobby because they thought he acted like Waterboy in the movie. Bobby Boucher. What do we know about Bobby Boucher? He runs like a chicken with his head cut off to go get that quarterback. The real life Bobby Boucher is about to make a statement in the Big 12, and I'm so pumped for Bobby Terrell. How would we rank Iowa State's defensive line room as we go into the 2025 or 2026-27 season? Let's see what we would rank it. The offensive preview is done, as you guys have seen. We got all those videos on that if you want to go check that out. Like and subscribe for more Chiefs and Cyclones content. The defensive line room, it's one of the best on the team. And I'm giving it a 9. Because they got ability, they got grit, they got talent, and they got a defensive-minded head coach and a defensive coordinator in Jesse Bobbitt that is ready to get after it. Leave your comments down below what you guys think about Iowa State's defensive line room going into 2026-27. We got linebackers, DBs, and special teams left before our full season preview. We'll be giving our offensive preview on Cyclone Central if you want to go check that out. But looking forward to this season. We're in August, which means we are 1 month away from football. Let's get into it, baby. As always, roll Clones. And how about those Chiefs?